Hello, everyone. This is John with Bumper Sticker Wisdom. Before we get started with episode 62, I need to issue a formal apology. I said something that was scriptural. I said it was scriptural, and it actually ended up not being scriptural. And it was talking about Noah's sons, none of Noah's sons. There's no scriptural evidence that states that Noah's sons left to find wives. They had wives when they got on the boat. So I said that was not scriptural. And I wanted to apologize because I don't want to lie to people.
Well, I mean, said sorry. I mean,
I did say I'm sorry.
You could have been like, no, it's in there. Just go find it. But
well, I'm more disappointed in myself for not fact-checking myself and just thinking that I knew the answer and being wrong. I don't like, we always talk about not wanting to lie.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think that we were doing that intentionally, and I don't want anybody to believe something that's a lie. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure we apologized. Go back and check it out if you want. If you have listened to it already, you probably already caught me in the lie. Other than that, you guys enjoy episode 62.
hello, everyone. Welcome to Bumper Sticker Wisdom. I'm Jason.
I'm John.
And we have a very, very special guest.
I'm Sam.
There you go. Brother John's going to say a prayer and we'll get started.
Yes, sir. Father in heaven, thank you for giving us an opportunity to come together and to just fellowship with one another and grow relationship with each other and with you, Lord. Just want to commit everything to you. Give us an opportunity to say what it is that you need to be said and open us our hearts so that we can receive what it is that you have for us. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Sam.
What's going on?
Shake off the cobwebs. It's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
I got a quick question. You're new to the show, new to the podcast itself. I know you've listened to a little bit of it. Question number one: what do you think?
I like it.
Yeah,
it's like just a couple guys sitting around talking.
Yeah.
Like, but it's things that you can relate to, like every day in life.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And then the second one, why did you say yes to coming on the show?
Because I like to talk too, I like to talk too, I'm a regular guy that likes conversations too.
There you go. Okay. Does anything about it intimidate you as far as what we talk about or anything like that?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Like I said, everyday stuff. So.
Yeah. I'm real curious. Obviously, we talk about life with Christ. It's kind of part of it's really the biggest part of it. We commit everything to him first. And I really don't know you well enough to know, where do you stand on that?
So like growing up, I wasn't really raised, we didn't go to church. There was a part of my childhood where we did.
Yeah.
But it was a very short period of time. So It's just something that like, I never really got into the word. I'm not against it. I'm not opposed it.
Right.
I've just never really, been introduced to it.
Right.
Like that type of deal.
Yeah. I really didn't. I didn't grow up in church either. I was raised by an atheist and a half atheist, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
We like to call it like a believer in convenience. Like,
Yeah.
I believe in God when
CEO.
when I need him.
Christmas, Easter, and occasionally.
For mine, it was not Christmas, Easter, or occasionally. It was never. But when I need him, I want to pray. Right.
Yeah.
So you're not alone in that fact. Some of how I ended up here is somebody took an interest, right, and kind of started dragging me along when I was a kid, and then I went away from the church for a really long time and away from the Word for a really long time, and then I've always kind of had that relationship in mind, but I wasn't sure what to do with it, and it's really been in the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years that it's really that relationship is really taking off. So have you ever been curious about it?
Yeah, it's always been a curiosity.
Sure.
It's like just one of those things, like it initially is like, is it real? Is it,
Yeah, for sure.
It's something that I've definitely wanted to do my research on and get into a little bit.
Yeah, I got you. Well, and I appreciate you being candid, you know what I mean? We come into this really not sure what to talk about, and so I hope that when we start to get into some of this conversation, that it sparks an interest and it sparks a question or two, and maybe we can give you a perspective that will help you want to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, questions are always good too, even if it's not none of them are going to be stupid. Like they're all going to be like legitimate questions. And the like what's really cool about what's going on right now is there's going to be a lot of people, hopefully a lot of people that listen that are going to be kind of in the same shoes as you. They're going to be like, oh yeah, you know, like I kind of relate to this guy.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to ask the same kind of questions that they have, and then they can get maybe an answer too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Like everything kind of works out well that way.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've talked about quite a bit the last couple of weeks, specifically on our Bible Roulette, has been the fishers of men thing and the go forth and make disciples.
Yes.
So we seriously consider this our opportunity to make more followers in a lot of different ways, not only by guests who come to the table, but by people who choose to listen on all the platforms that we put our show on. And it's not something that we take lightly, you know what I mean? So we know that perspective means a lot, and people need somebody to relate to in order for them to really believe them. Like, you know what I mean? I think you and I don't have much of a relationship, but I think what you know is that I care, right? You know enough about me to know that I care about people, right? And you know that I'll take a personal interest in you, hoping that, you know, you're doing good and all that.
Most definitely.
So given that, you know,
Yeah.
that makes this a little bit of this is a different kind of avenue for us. Like we haven't had somebody really at the table that's in your shoes yet. So I'm really kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
But it also kind of creates a little bit of nerves too. It's like, dang, I hope I do the right thing or say the right thing.
Okay, here's the thing though, is even if like I feel like everybody here is mature enough that even if there's kind of like someone's leaning a different way or whatever, everything we can all still talk about it. You know
Yeah,
what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like there's not any kind of like weaponized propaganda or anything going on. Like legitimately, I mean, we have a guest that is probably just going to have a lot of questions. I mean, it's not like he's not going to be like, "Oh, you're wrong." You know what I mean? Like,
right. What it may be is like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little further?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that's the kind of interaction that we always want. Like even with people online, you know, the people that never hit us up in our email or never hit us up in our DMs or never hit us up. I mean, like we want someone to challenge us because it not only does it make us better, but maybe it'll give us the opportunity to kind of answer some of those and help somebody through some of that stuff.
Yeah.
You
So
know what I mean?
what you're saying is Sam is our dream guest.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who knew?
As essentially, you know, I mean, because it gives you the opportunity to really kind of expand and get into a conversation with someone that you weren't expecting to have that conversation with. We that very first email that we got, that's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was like, okay, well, you know, there was a lot of questions. He's asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Or I don't know,
did.
he or she, it's anonymous, but
yeah. That was a very cool day. We were very excited. That was April 12th. We're coming up on a year for that.
First time anybody had ever reached out and like asked us something.
Yeah, like personally hit our email with a question and a comment too. So
a couple times though, like two or three times.
Yeah, we had several interactions with them.
Yeah.
And we've had some other stuff that has taken place. But so given all of that, what's something that you were thinking about or a question that you may have had when you were decided that you wanted to come and do this? And we've been talking about this for about 6 weeks actually, but timing didn't line up real good.
One question I had is that's a tough one right there. Because like I had a lot.
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions and then
I put you on the spot.
I get here and I'm blank. Just blank.
It's all right. I mean,
It happens.
yeah, I've a lot of the times I will sit down, like I'll come in here and we've been doing this for 60,
This is 62.
62 episodes now. Not even counting the ones that we scrapped. We probably have about 7, 8 that we scrapped or that we're holding. Like,
Yeah, those are
I still
nuggets.
on my way here am like, oh man, I got all this stuff, man. I got a whole list of stuff in my head that I want to talk about, and then I get here, and he's like,
yeah.
So what's new? And I'm like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, just like that.
Well, so I have to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. We've been talking about getting into a new studio.
Yes.
We talked about it on here. We're taking progression pictures. Like
the next episode that we air after this will be in the new studio.
Yes, we will have already been in our new studio.
It's
so
pretty freaking dope too.
I can't wait to show it to people. I'm taking progression pictures and stuff like that. We got
when this is over, you got to show him.
Oh, I will. I'll show him for sure. Jason built a brand new table. This table is not going with us, and this is the one where we left our baggage. Yeah. So we're not taking our baggage with us.
The new table is. It's a lot cooler though.
It's slick, Rick, bro. It's slick.
Like, it's simple, but it's legit.
I can't believe how much like wrought iron the legs look, and they're straight wood.
Dude, what's crazy? It's laminated plywood.
Like
everybody's like, "What'd you build the legs out of?" I'm like, "Plywood, bro." And they're like, "Really?
What?"
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, glued and screwed,
cool.
man. Clamped it, glued and screwed. Let it sit overnight.
It
looks like rectangular tubing. The legs look like rectangular tubing.
Exactly what it looks like. And then we got slapped the cool new version of our logo on it. We got a nice neon sign that's going to be hanging up in there. We're going to be a lot more professional. We're on the come up, y'all.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's showing him a picture of the table. So
it's a maple top. It's maple. The table's made out of maple, and it's oak trim.
Yeah,
trimming the outside edge because we got for boom or for mic booms and stuff, you got to have enough that you can clamp it to.
Yeah.
So the outside edge is oak trim. It's pretty dope.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. The new so you look up at the ceiling, you see the soundproofing panels, right? And really, all you're trying to do is like just dampen echo. Which normally we shut the curtains, but the space is a little too small. So when we shut the curtains, like you're in the curtains, and I didn't want to do that.
You're gonna feel like
you're gonna get a little claustrophobic. Yeah. So we decided. Whenever we have a guest, I don't want to close the curtains. But we were talking last night about like how far it's come already, and like how different it is today compared to where it was when we started. And like when we very first started, we were on a little bitty black desk. Wider than this.
It went right here, and we sat side by side, like we were both sitting on the same side.
And we're looking at each other while we're
and looking at each other like this.
Oh, it was so bad, dude.
Bro, we look like we look like the Temu of podcasters at that point. You know what I mean? Like
the Temu of podcasters.
We did, and like balling on a budget, like legit balling on a budget,
straight up. And then, of course, Jason, bro, you got all the skills and all the crafting of things from metal to wood to anything you want. Then put together what you see here is the original table that he built. This was an addition because
it was too small.
I was cramped. Like you see all this that I take control of. I got the soundboard, I got the computer and all that. So I was like, you know what I mean? So he added an extension, and then he decided he hates this table.
I hated it today. The day I put it together, but it was such a like quick little thing. And the thing about it was like $40 worth of 2x6s. That's what this was,
right? And
so it took me like 2 hours to build.
Right.
The other table took me roughly 2 days.
Yeah, almost 3 days total.
Yeah,
with the logo.
Yeah, with the logo, the epoxy, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what really started to kind of springboard the whole thing and make it start to become what we felt like was like a legitimate podcast was this thing.
Yeah,
and no doubt. I mean, because it generated our audio. Yeah. Right. So it's a Rodecaster Pro. Right, and it's got 4 inputs, and we got a steal on it, bro. That's normally $1,100.
Got it for like $500.
We got it for $500 with mics and headphones and all that stuff. So like we were super super fortunate to come up with that. And I'm a music guy, Well, I mean, you're looking around the room, you see guitars hanging up everywhere, and I got memorabilia and stuff. Like I'm a music guy, so sound quality means something to me. Jason was like, I thought we were just going to start with a cell phone on the table, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, I mean, we can.
Well, but what did we have before? We just, remember, like, we had these, you had little holes poked in the table, and the boom mics were in there.
Yeah.
The mic booms were in there.
I did,
and yes, and it, like, we were just like, I was like, well, do we even need headphones? I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, let's just set let's just set one mic on the table and let's just start talking. And you're like, that is never going to work. That is never going to work.
I had a little mixer. It was like this big. So I still have it. It's called a Scarlett something. It's a little red one. I still have it. You can plug 2 mics into it.
Have you heard the story about how all this started to begin with?
Nuh-uh.
So I was like, I went to church with my wife just because my wife like nagging me, like, come on, we're going to church. Essentially,
got it.
But I say that not meaning like she literally was nagging me. That's how I felt. Like I felt like she was nagging me. So I'm like always feeling like I gotta go to church. I got invited to their Bible study, and after that, everything kind of started to change. Well, then he was like, man, I've been thinking about doing this podcast. And so I was like, when do we start? He was like,
straight up, dude. First time I said it.
Yeah, as soon as he said it, I was like, when are we starting? And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, when are we doing it?
Yeah. So the vision was pretty small at first. And the only reason I started a podcast was even in my vernacular is because somebody mentioned it to me saying, because I write a lot and I have a lot of writings. I haven't written since I started doing this, but I was sharing it with somebody and they're like, man, I think you should think about doing a podcast or something. And I was like, never even thought that would be a consideration. You know what I mean? And so it was probably a year. I've been thinking about it a year. I had no idea where to start, what to do, nothing. And I told a few people, but really didn't get any support as far as like, I mean, I heard people say, yeah, you should do that. But not anybody was like, let's do it, bro. You know what I mean? And so the instant he did that, it was game one, and it has been downhill ever since, baby, at 100 miles an hour. Has. And a lot of things have changed, man. A lot of things have changed. And we've talked about so much on here. One of the things that we try to motivate, because we're men, we talk about man stuff and being men in this world. And it's difficult for us to learn to have relationship with other men where we can be vulnerable.
That's a very uncomfortable feeling anyways, because as men, we're taught to suck it up. Like, suck it up, buttercup, like, handle your business. Like, be a man. That's the most famous thing that people say to men is be a man.
Right.
Like, sometimes it's okay to like, okay, well, like, can you teach me? Because I'm really struggling with this right now. You know what I mean?
I'm not in a good place.
As a kid, I really wish I would have had that outlet.
Right.
You know, suck it up. Well, how? Like, I don't even know. Like,
can you tell me what that looks like?
My role model used to beat the piss out of me and my mom both. You know, it's like, how, okay, that's being a man. Like,
what do I do?
How am I supposed to understand?
I go beat on somebody. That'll help.
I can't go. What am I going to go beat on my half sister or something? You know, like, what do you do?
That's just going to get you more beatings.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like, growing up as a kid, it's really hard to understand what a man's supposed to be if you're not in the right household.
Right. Yeah, and in art, I don't even know if it's just relinquished to our. I don't even know if that is relinquished just to our society or not. I don't know what it's like in other countries and other societies and whatnot, but in our society, single parent homes, blended families and stuff like that are very, very common.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and not all step parents take that flag of wanting to be a full-time true parent. So, you know, those turn into very difficult situations.
Yeah.
You know,
and it wasn't my dad that.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. Same for me. I mean, if you've listened to episode 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 of I mean, this is early in this podcast where we were still really raw.
Yeah.
My dad and I really shared our whole story and like how it lined up.
That was essentially 3 episodes.
Yeah. It was 3.5, 4, almost 4 hours worth of content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Among stuff, there was a lot of cut too. That was where I really started learning how to cut and edit. audio was right there. But, we just want to teach not only ourselves, because we're not great at it either, but others, specifically men. Like, we gotta have somewhere to go with our shit.
Yeah.
We gotta, Sam, help me out here, bro. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I'm 100% there. Like, I love my therapist almost, because I gotta go somewhere with my shit.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah, but okay. So let me ask you this: when you do get it off your chest, it's like it's euphoric almost. That's how it is for me. Like, so my therapist is him. So when I have stuff going on, that's the first person I call every time.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I had an interaction with some sheriffs not too long ago, and I told them to kind of diffuse the situation. I was like, look, I just got off the phone with my mentor. He's talking me off the ledge, like, and they're like, oh, okay, like, because it was game on, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
look, man, I'm sorry. Please tell them I'm sorry. I just got off the phone with my mentor, you know, like this is what's happening. But I call him for everything. But the struggle that he has, is he don't go to anybody.
Yeah, I'm stupid. I'm working on it though. Come on, man.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because, like I said to him, it's almost euphoric for me to get it off my chest, to get it out there, to talk about it. He's talking about how he almost loves his therapist.
Yeah.
See what you're missing out on?
Okay, man. God bless, bro.
It's the best. It's
straight under the bus.
Yeah, boy. But you know, like when you go to church and you feel like the preacher's talking to you directly. Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
But you're literally talking.
Yeah, I'm literally talking to you. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not doing it like, I'm not being passive aggressive. I'm not calling you out, bro.
Straight up. And look, and this is a process that I've been working through a lot. Like, community is very, very tricky for me. Like, I don't trust people very well. Through this process, I've gotten to where, like, you are somebody that's you're on the first layer of my inner circle, you know what I mean? And, like, getting comfortable with going, okay, I'm weak right now. And I can't take it to them. I can't take it to my dad. I can't take it to my wife. Two of my best friends in the world, right? No doubt. But this isn't for them, because I know what'll happen to them emotionally.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Why do you go to your therapist?
Because, when I feel like that, if I can't take it to somebody, there's somebody I got to take it.
Because you're getting some kind of relief.
Exactly.
Like you're getting a kickback. Like it's like you are getting it off your chest. You're getting a kickback from it.
And somebody's listening.
Yeah, someone's listening. You know what nobody does to men? Listen. Nobody listens to men.
Yeah.
So when I talk to you specifically about that kind of stuff, that's what I'm saying. Like, I love them, dude. My wife is my biggest fan. She's the biggest supporter I've ever had in my entire life. She's there for me, ride or die, no matter what.
Yes, sir.
But she don't listen to me for shit.
Yeah, no bueno.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
When I call you, even when I first got here, and I said I'm irritated. Yeah, you're like your first response is, "What's going on?"
Yeah, talk to me, bro. Let's talk about it.
And then I'm like a garbage truck at that point, just dumping it all out there. You know what I mean? But that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's why I do call you. Like, I can talk to her about certain things, but like you said, when I talk to her about one or two of these things that are really bothering me, she immediately is going to be either defensive or offended, because she's going to think it has something to do with her, or she's going to think she can't fix it. And that's not why I'm doing it. It's just like, I just got to get it out.
Right. So and we've talked about all this really recently. And
we talk about the same. Yeah.
You talk to me about waves and what happens when a wave hits shore.
It stops.
And I know.
And usually the shores rock. So that's why I was telling you, find your rock, because the waves that keep coming and coming, they're going to hit that rock and they're going to stop. Yeah. And it's just a good way to kind of try to help yourself calm the storm.
Right. Well, one thing I know about walking through not just life in general, but life with Christ His teeth are sticking together from those stupid strawberry bonbons.
Have you ever had these things?
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, you want one? They're my most favorite thing in the world.
He has an addiction.
They hurt my teeth, man.
Bro, and like I can't just put them in my mouth and just like leave it alone. I'm like, I
like you're chewing on a jawbreaker.
I look like a horse trying to eat oats, you know?
So one of the things too, though, like, yes, with life in general, we need confidants, people who will speak life into us and talk us off those ledges that we get to. But I know specifically in a walk with Christ situation, when you start to have a relationship and you start to try to figure out what that looks like for you in your life, and like, how do I apply it to my life, and like, how do I adjust myself, and you know what, man, you got to have somebody to talk to, because figure it out for yourself. Look, I've done a lot of this on my own terms. We've just established that plenty.
Yeah.
But it's taken God 45 years to show me this ain't just for you alone. You can't do this by yourself. You can't. You did a lot by yourself, and I'm proud of you for that.
Technically,
I know I'm not 45
technically
yet.
44 for about a month and 27 days. So
It's pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I know.
28 days. A month and 28 days.
I'll be 45 April 23rd. We're A2380. I'm April 23rd, 1980. He's August 23rd, 1980.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we're old, bro. We're
oh,
old.
so old.
Yeah.
He's complaining earlier about being old. How old are you, Sam?
I'm 32.
You're still wet behind the ears, bro.
You know, I started at my current job at this company I work for at 30.
I just had my last kid at 32. My oldest is 20. Is 6 to be 26.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, my oldest
Yeah.
is 26. Yeah.
26, 25, 22, 21, and we'll be 13 this year. Those are my 5.
That 13, man. Ooh.
Dude, he was an oops. I didn't even live here. I'm like, how did this happen? You know what I mean? Like,
Man. But anyway, just, you're absolutely right. Of course. Right. And yeah, this is one of those moments where you got to practice what you preach. Yeah, absolutely. But it's something, what we know is process is part of it. So you got to learn how to do it. And the first step is really getting comfortable with it, right? Like we kind of talked about that. And since we had that conversation a couple weeks back, I haven't really had anything that I felt like I needed to bounce off of somebody yet. You know what I mean? No, or not something that I couldn't talk to one of the other people in the circle that I needed to get it off real fast. Some stuff doesn't really belong on here. You know what I mean? Because a lot of conversations that we have, like that get real deep, are in this podcast, right? And some stuff is like, okay, I don't care what anybody knows about me because they're truths and it is what it is. But not everything is our podcast. You know what I mean?
yeah, but a lot of the conversations that some of the deepest conversations that we've had have been before you hit the record button.
Very, very true. Yeah.
Like we've had those conversations like 2 or 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We had like, I mean, it took us forever to gain any traction. Or no, actually it was last freaking week.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, I feel like we wasted a bunch of good content. Like, cause we were just like, kept on. It's like, okay, look, eventually you're gonna have to push that red button, dude, because we're just like rolling down the highway, dropping hundreds out right now. Like this is good content,
bro. Okay, so several years back, we went to Miami. We took it was a whole family for our
8 or 9 days. I mean, it was a long.
We had a long trip.
Freaking time.
We had it was our mother and father-in-law's 50th anniversary. So the parents and all the kids, their kids,
and their siblings,
and their spouses, all went on a 50th anniversary vacation. Well, we took a trip to Key West from Miami. And Key West, I don't know if you've ever been in this area, but it's a little 2-lane highway over the ocean.
4 hours. Woo! 50 miles an hour for 4 hours. Dude, if you could actually do the speed limit, it's about 4 hours, right?
It took 4 hours, yeah.
And then you go through like a lot of these little towns, but it's one lane this way, one lane this way, like going there and back.
Each little town is a new island.
Yeah, it's freaking insane, but dude, it is so freaking cool.
Key West was awesome, but
Miami is terrible. Miami was terrible.
Miami was not and we stayed on South Beach. I mean, we got this very cool Airbnb, man.
Yeah, we had the what was it, like the 5th floor of that condo, 5th or 6th floor of that condo?
I think it was the 5th floor of that condo. Yeah, and we had
we were like and we're right there on the beach. So you walk out, like you go down the elevator and you walk out of our front door, and there's South Beach, and then you're just right there. Like it's another 200 feet to the ocean.
Yeah, it was cool.
That experience, that part of it was cool. But
yeah. Bro, we sat out on that patio and freaking smoked cigars and did our thing,
dude. But it was like, I thought there was a hurricane rolling through. Honestly,
there was a lot of rain.
We were sitting there, and it's like our first night there too. We're just sitting there chilling, like we're all talking about, well, let's walk down to the water. You know, we all got our alcohol out, and like it's our first night. And like we go out, we come down the elevator, and we go out the front door, and we get out on the front porch, and it's like, I mean, dude, it is. The wind's blowing. I mean, you're talking probably like 3 inches of rain
instantly
per 20 minutes. I mean, I don't even know, but
it was a monsoon very quickly. It was crazy. It was crazy. But what I was thinking about when you started the $100 bills out the window, do you remember going down the road from like Key Largo to Key West or whatever? That little 2-lane highway over the ocean.
Oh, with all the money.
The money was rolling down the road.
Money was blowing down the freaking highway, bro.
I wanted to stop my car.
Yes,
so
money was blowing down the highway. Like, and I'm not like, dude, it's like someone ripped a freaking black I don't know what it was, but like someone ripped a black hefty bag full of cash
and just
threw it out the window. There's like money blowing down the highway and stuff, but there's only one lane.
Yeah. If I stop, everything behind me has to stop. And
there's like, and they got these little decoys. So like Florida State troopers they think they're slick. They go out there. They go out there and they park a car facing traffic this way and facing traffic this way, and there ain't nobody in them.
Oh
yeah,
they're just sitting there. They're just cars that are they're just got like and they're like nice ones. Like, so they're new. Like you think, oh man, there's someone in there. It's like they abandoned these Chargers and these. It's like, dude.
But I was thinking about that because I remember like, are those ones? But bro, there were not just ones. There were some 50s. There were some 20s, and oh man, I wish I could have stopped that car.
It was really cool. They took us like 4 miles out or something like that, and we could still stand up in the water.
Yeah.
Like took us out into on the Gulf side to go snorkeling. Of course, me and him were the first two that tapped out because he sucked in water through his snorkel. I look like
saltwater sucks.
I look like Scuba Steve. I didn't realize I was such a heavy nose breather.
Oh.
And those goggles cover your nose. And I exhaled so hard that I ballooned my goggles off my face. And they filled with water, and then I sucked them back to my face. Oh. So I inhaled all that salt water. So the thing that they say is do not stand up because this is like natural reef.
Yeah, there's
so
reef,
like they get pissed. As soon as that happens to me, poof!
I stood straight up. Yeah.
I stood straight up, and they're like, no, and I'm like, look, I'm taking everything off. I'm like, give
me that ladder. I'm out.
I'm done. I'm done with this.
So Key West is the closest point. It's the most southern point of the United States. And
I got a picture of that little buoy that floats out there too.
Yeah, it's 90 miles from Cuba, right there at Key West. Well, we get out on this little boat.
It's not a little boat. It's a big boat.
It's a pretty big boat. And we go out there, and you get to go snorkeling, and you get to do a little bit of dolphin watching if the dolphins are running around.
You can barely see the skyline.
Yeah.
Like barely. Like you're way out there. And then you're looking down and it's like you can see sand. Like, holy crap. Like how deep is that? And they're like, oh, it's about 4 foot. Like,
Yeah, miles off.
Yeah,
miles
we're miles out there. We're miles out
like,
there.
That was the strangest thing to me. But we did see some dolphins and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were swimming up against that one boat.
Yeah, they loved to chase the wake of the boat. It was pretty funny. They were like, some people were like, oh, are they gonna? They're like thinking of movie stuff. They're gonna jump out of the water and die back in.
No, they're not.
They're like, it's 4 foot of water, dude.
The first thing they told us when we got on the boat is you are not gonna get to swim with them. Like you're not gonna get to touch them. It's like,
yeah, they're wild. These are wild dolphins.
Yeah, they're wild.
They're not in captivity.
You're out there, and it's just like if they happen to show up.
I don't know if you remember that last little stretch. She was like, oh, I think it's coming over here, and that one that went right up next to the boat. I was standing on the rail. That sucker flew by like a bullet. I mean, and it's 4 foot of water, dude. It's this deep. And he went by the side of that boat, I mean, like a freight train coming down the tracks, baby. And I was like, how? How's he going that fast? He's not hitting nothing. He's just gone.
But you see how small they were? They were small.
They weren't huge, but I mean,
they might have been as long as this table.
Yeah, every bit the size of the table,
Probably 5 foot long. I mean, they were like micro machines.
Oh, come on now.
You're too young to remember that, huh? Micro machines?
Micro machine.
You don't remember them?
Oh, they're like tiny Hot Wheels.
Please
bro.
tell me you know who Dennis the Menace is.
Oh, I know who Dennis the Menace.
Dude, I failed my kids as a parent. My kids do not know who Dennis the Menace is. And I'm like, how do you not know who Dennis the Menace is?
Nah, I still read the paper.
Yeah, I still read the paper.
Yeah, this Sunday.
So you know who Calvin and Hobbes is too? Yeah, okay, there you go.
My dad's got Calvin tattooed on his freaking arm.
He's probably pissing on something.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's just chilling.
Oh, okay.
He's just like, I think he's got pants on. And he's sitting there like that.
So how old is your kid?
He's 10. Well, he turns 10 in March.
So 10. Okay, all right. March.
So boy.
Yeah, he's a boy.
Yeah,
Nolan. That's his name.
Yeah.
Nolan. Nice. Nolan.
It's a great choice.
This is a good. The Ryan Express, baby. It's probably not for that reason, but you know.
He was named. His mother's grandfather is Nolan, and my grandfather is Charles. So his name is Nolan Charles.
So, okay. This is a good question for just like raising your kids. Like, I wanted my kids to get all the 80s nostalgia because I was born in 1980, bro. I grew up in the 80s, basically. I became, my coming of age is in the 90s, obviously. So I'm really attached to the 90s too. But I love all the 80s movies, the Back to the Futures and all that kind of stuff.
Remember Rad?
Oh, yes. Of course.
Do you know that movie?
I remember Mad too.
The magazine or like the comic kind of thing?
Mad, yeah. And Rad. Rad was like the offshoot of Mad. Yeah.
No, Rad was the BMX movie.
Oh, yes. So
they auction those bikes off that are like that.
Really?
Dude. Like dynos and like dude, they're like $3,500, dude, for a freaking bicycle that was made in like the 80s.
Wow. So when the world started to become cool in the 80s, I'm just kidding, obviously, because I'm kind of an old soul. I love a lot of things previous to that, but there are things about like from my childhood that I wanted to make sure that my kids got to enjoy too. So my kids love, the original Ninja Turtles. They love Back to the Future. They love all that kind of stuff. So like, what's some things from your childhood that you want your kiddo to have?
Well, mostly, like the Nickelodeon shows. We'll sit and watch those, on a Saturday night. Things like Rugrats.
Yes.
Because I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
But
Rugrats.
I love that show.
One of my favorite films growing up was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Nice.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah. That's a great one. I love that.
Still a favorite. So, like that's something that he also.
Yeah.
And then when the new Wonka film came out,
it's not the same.
It's not quite what you thought.
Yeah, but we still went and watched it.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, there's the things that I like to do as a kid. That's what he likes to do now.
That's cool. So like the original animated Batman and X-Men and all that stuff, I shared that with the boys. They love all that stuff. I'm a Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars since I was little. So I've of course, they're little haters now. They don't like the new stuff, but I love all of it.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting, like what you want your kids to take from like your, your secular life, like your regular old life, which I've watched. Golly, you talk about Gene Wilder. I love Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder did a ton of movies together, and they're all stinking hilarious. One of my favorite ones is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Richard Pryor's blind. He plays a blind person, and Gene Wilder plays a deaf person. Oh, and they get hooked up on this crazy, this crazy high situation.
So Richard Pryor doesn't know that he's deaf because he can't see him.
Correct.
Yeah, so he doesn't know. He's thinking, why ain't this fool answering me? Probably.
Correct. There's some very funny stuff that happens in that show, man. If you've never seen See No Evil, Hear No Evil, it's worth it one time at least.
Does he still do the does he do that, or is it like normal talking?
He talks normally. So there is a backstory in it. He wasn't born deaf.
Okay.
He became deaf a little later, but he reads lips. So like, okay, I'll give you a quick funny. Again, this guy knows he's blind because he's deaf, but not blind.
Yeah.
And the blind guy doesn't really know that he's deaf. And there's times when like they're on this crazy adventure. It's wild, and it's kind of some criminal heist stuff happening, and they're kind of getting to be the patsies. And but anyway, there's times when he'd be out in the middle of nowhere, screaming, "Dave, Dave!" Dave's the deaf guy, screaming for him. "Where are you, Dave?" It's freaking hilarious, bro. And one time, the blind guy is driving. They're like handcuffed to each other, and he's driving. He's like, I brought it up. I'll probably cut most of this because I don't know how long I can. Hey, look, it's Kevin Spacey. I didn't even realize that was Kevin Spacey.
Isn't he the serial rapist?
Yeah, eventually. He wasn't back then, or at least it wasn't known.
Are you sure?
Look at the porn stash.
Yeah. We sure.
Watch this. Watch. Okay, I got to play it. You'll see. It's funny.
Where are we?
I think we're floating towards New Jersey.
No shit. I got relatives in Jersey.
How nice for you.
You could read her lips, right?
Yes, I could.
What did she say?
She said, I'll give it to you tomorrow. We'll go to Grace George in the morning and wait for your call. And then she said, we have to leave the country tomorrow.
Okay. Now we have to find this Grace George lady and wait for him to show up. Are you with me?
Am I with you? Of course. You've earned my trust, Wally. You're always watching out for me. You never get me into trouble. Sometimes life is a little boring with you. But that's a small price to pay for such a wonderful friendship.
That's a sweet thing you just said. Do you mean everything you just said?
I'll tell you exactly how I feel.
I wonder how hard it was for them to do this movie without that dude blinking at all, ever.
Right now, I'm a little overwhelmed by the stink of the 7,000 tons of garbage that you drove me into.
Is that what it is? I thought you let one go. That's why I didn't say nothing.
That was kind of you. Thank you.
2026.
Such a great setup. Look, is it the funniest thing ever? No. But seriously, it's just cool because think about that though. Like
It's that nostalgia.
yeah, it's that. That's what I was kind of talking about. Yeah. I don't know what I'd get to use out of that because there are such things as copyright laws.
Yeah.
But, I'll try. We've been tagged a few times, but nothing ever serious.
Nothing was, yeah.
All right, Sam, You've been with us roughly an hour now. We're getting close to what we call the end of our show. We try to stick around an hour. We'll give and take 5 to 25 minutes. Depends on the day, right?
Yeah, depends on the day.
I want to know for sure before we walk away. Obviously, we haven't spent a whole lot of time in God's word or anything like that, and I'm not ever a forceful type of person. I don't feel like that's who Jesus was. Yeah. If you spend a lot of time reading the Bible and all that, you'll know that Christ was. You either want me or you don't, right? But at the same time, he wants you to know him, but he's not going to make you, right? It's your choice. Right. I have to know if there's anything that would help you to even start that journey. If I feel like we'd be doing ourselves a disservice, I'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't give you an opportunity to at least say, hey, look, here's something that would help me get started.
Pretty much what I've taken from it is that what I need to get started is myself. I got to take that leap. I gotta say, open myself to it, and I got to get myself involved in it. That's what it is. And like me getting involved doesn't have to be me finding a church or something right off the bat. It could be as simple as going to Walmart, finding a Bible, and making that purchase and just opening it, reading it, and starting there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, in order for me to jump into it takes my personal, want to. Yep. So that's kind of what I've.
That's absolutely true too.
That's 1,000% correct.
You have to make a decision to surrender, right? Like you have to make the decision to. You know what, man? I've clearly don't have all this figured out. I'm struggling. I don't know what else to do. I've got somebody to talk to, which is great. But I need something deeper, a little more, and that's the substance of this whole thing. There's a scripture that comes to mind instantly, and it's I think it's interesting to share right now. And it's faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. I can't tell you where it's at. I believe it's in Hebrews. But the idea that just believing is the substance of what you're hoping for. It is literally the evidence that you need of the things that you can't see yet. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means you can't see it yet. I want to make sure that if there's anybody listening, and I want to make sure that I extend that olive branch to you as well. If there's any way that we can help you on that journey, please don't do it alone.
Most definitely.
This isn't, yes, it's somewhat an individual journey. Yes, I've taken my own individual journey. You've taken your own individual journey. But what we've established in some of the conversation we've had tonight, it's not about you alone. Yeah. Conversations need to be had. Questions need to be asked. Study needs to be made. Like you have to seek in order to find. And that brings up a whole nother scripture for me. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. You gotta want it first. And you're absolutely right. That decision starts with you. And if you ever make the decision that you're ready for that, I hope that you reach out to us.
Yeah, most definitely.
I hope so. And share it with all your friends. Yeah. We're just trying to help people. And we're trying to not just help people, help ourselves, and we've helped ourselves a whole lot in this process. So, all right, Jason, have I done enough stalling for you to find a dad joke?
I had this one before we even started.
Oh, I have no idea where to go with mine.
The invisible man married an invisible woman. Their kids weren't much to look at.
No, they probably weren't. Fyodor Dostoyevsky. Don't know that I can say that again. It is better to be unhappy and know the worst than to be happy in a fool's paradise.
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Yeah, it's a little, sometimes a little bit hard to swallow. but at least you know the truth.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the truth is important. That's why God's word says that the truth shall set you free. Right. And sometimes facing the truth is the most painful thing that we have to do. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
What? Why you look at me like I'm gonna say something?
Somebody needs to say something. Don't just leave me out here hanging, boys. I can't be the anchor. I don't have the strength to
What
be
do
the
you
anchor.
want? I'm gonna quote Kevin Gates. I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired.
Hey, so
There's 2 jobs. I don't know what it is. I can't quote him exactly, but
tell me something a little bit more personal about yourself. I appreciate the fact that you've been willing to come here.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gives you a reason to maybe tune in a little bit more and again, share it with other people. The fact that you're on it should give you a reason like, hey, you should check out this podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, the whole goal is always for us is always keep God first. And that mission is first and foremost. But we also get to know each other. Everybody who's listened to this thing from the beginning knows us very well, right? Like they know a lot of very personal things about us, and I don't want to get too crazy about that. You know what I mean? I'm not asking you to bare your soul.
Yeah.
But like, hey, dude, what are you into? What kind of what do you do in your recreational time?
So pretty much what I do is, gonna sound a little cliche, but I like to go out with my friends.
Yeah.
Have some drinks. We've been playing darts lately, which is
you're a darter.
Yeah,
Hey,
I never knew
that's
it could
this
be
guy.
so much fun, man.
dude.
That's-
Yeah,
It's like golf, man. It's a sport.
dude, I
don't gotta do
love
too
it.
much.
I love it. I got a really badass dart cabinet, some badass darts. I was in league.
Yeah. I'm not a dart guy.
Of course,
Yeah.
I gave it up to do Bible study and some of that other stuff because they coincided on the same nights. So can't really have the best of both worlds. Obviously I chose the right path, but no, I'm still that dude. Like I'll down half a fifth of whiskey, and I think I can beat anybody at a game of darts.
I cannot. I suck at darts.
I just learned how to keep score barely. I'm so.
Oh, I got an
into
app.
it.
I got an app for that. I got an app.
See, we do
Dart
it on a
Connect.
chalkboard.
Yeah, no, Dart Connect, man. So I use my wife's iPad, and Dart Connect is like an app, and you pay like $24 a year. You open the iPad, you sign in, you pick what game. If you're playing cricket, 301, 501, whatever you're playing, you click that game, you put it. I even built a holder, so like it hangs beside the dartboard, and you pick what game you're gonna play. You bull it up, you throw for bull, see who starts. You click the player that starts, and then you go. So like you go up there, and let's say you hit trip 20 in a game of cricket. Trip 20, trip 19, trip 18. You go up there and you hit those are closed. They go up there and they don't hit nothing. You go up there and you hit it again. It keeps the score for you. So dude, once you hit it, it tallies it up. Like it's sitting right there. Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
$24 a year. It's totally worth it.
$2 a month.
If you're into darts, any at all, it's totally worth it. And
awesome.
you get emailed. So if you go, like when I played league, I would put up, you put your email in and everything, and your league average and your league scores all go to your account. So like then I go out there and I get on the patio and I log in and I start checking all my stuff. It'll tell me what I threw for an average for league the week before or whatever.
Nice.
So it'll tell you like how many darts it took to close out a game of 301 or how many darts it took to close out a game of cricket or whatever.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's
It's
cool.
also how I got my first hat trick.
I went to your
3 double bulls and 1 throw. So it's
I be wall.
Yeah.
That's what happens when I throw the darts.
no, it's so fun, but it's a master of time suckage.
like a lot of things in life, right?
But
like
this, I'm talking about, dude. You're at a random bar on a Tuesday night till midnight.
Yeah.
Playing darts, and I'm old, and I got a wife, and I live very far away.
I got work in the morning.
And I get up at 4:30 to go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Then you got guys like me that ain't hitting.
yeah. So that game, if I'm not hitting, that game's gonna last forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've played games where it's been like in the 40s to close out cricket.
No.
40 darts to close out cricket.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played those games, and I mean, I can't talk no crap because I'm one of the contributors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm contributing to how long this is taking.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's 7:55.
Better send that out.
You think Tanner? He's got me. He's got it.
He's already got it.
No, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, he's gonna have it. He's been on it, dude.
Yeah.
I picked him up yesterday. I told him I'd be there at 5. I showed up at 4:50.
Are you surprised he was up and ready?
Yeah.
He wasn't ready, but
He was like, "What?" He jumped as soon as he jumped the truck. What happened to 5?
You're ready. Shut up. Get in the car.
4:50, bro.
So just so you kind of know what just happened is us at
At 8 o'clock,
our little group
our
of
Bible
dudes
study
that
group.
hang out and do Bible study on Mondays. Every single night, somebody is supposed to send out a book and chapter for us to check out. And I send out a reminder to those dudes when it's their night. Sam, thanks for coming. I know it's a little bit different, it's a little weird, and all that stuff. These headphones do something to you, though. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of just dive. It just sucks you in.
Yeah, it's really easy because you get trapped. Like you feel like you can't go nowhere. Like you can't escape the conversation. Like if it's just you talking in a room, you can turn your head and be like, it's like forced upon you.
Yeah, I've actually
It's like Diddy.
forced upon you. Forced upon you.
No Diddy. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up, but it's funny.
Bro, we're just people and we think shit's funny. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's good stuff right there.
So there have been a couple times where I thought maybe we should take the headphones away and just talk to each other. It changes everything, though, when you take them out, because this kind of sucks you into the world. You know what I mean? You don't have a choice but to have that conversation with each other. You don't have you got no other option but to hear what I got to say to you.
Try it. Try
Okay.
it. Try it. It's completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different. I don't like it at all.
That's
What do you think about it?
It feels a little weird, not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, we can have that conversation and you can hear me.
Okay,
and all
first
that,
thing
but-
that's going to happen is like so we're not hearing this.
Yeah.
We're going to be in these conversations like we're not going to hear how we're speaking into the mic, and you're gonna
It's going to drift on
you're gonna
away.
be like
Yeah,
that.
start.
No, dude, you remember that time? You
Yeah,
remember that
yeah,
time?
yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like crap right now.
Yeah, absolutely it does. I'm sure it does. Well, this has to go back on then because we can't do that to our listeners. Hey, okay. This is the last comment I'm going to make. And look, I'm not trying to like gloss up what we do or anything like that. But every person that I know that has listened to our podcast, especially from the early going, has said, you guys' sound quality from the start is better than anybody else from the start. Like if you listen to almost every other podcast from the moment they started, it doesn't have that same audio quality. So I take that stuff very seriously. And so the idea of taking the headphones off, it will take away from that.
So what I want everybody to consider is we just got voted Forbes best podcast in the nation.
At sound quality.
Forbes.
Yeah.
We don't even make no money. How convincing did I just sound? No, we really didn't. But we talked about this in last week. I think it was last week's episode about how all you have to do is sell it.
Sell it, man.
All you got to do is sell it. Look, what we're trying to sell is not. We're not trying to sell wolf tickets. We're not slinging wolf tickets. We're not trying to get you to believe something that's not out there. We're not doing that to listeners. We're not doing any of that. All we're trying to do is just be the best example, because sometimes for certain people, we may be the only Bible that they ever see.
Yeah.
For those people, you just want to be the best example. And to be the best example, you got to be you got to put yourself out there in a way that's honorable, that's respectable. We could go out there and just BS everybody. We could be like, hey, look, man, this is
the best thing
you know, because
seen.
and especially in today's world, because dude, I just heard an article on Big D and Bubba in the morning. They were talking about this thing. AI now can create a website with your pictures in it, and they can back you with credentials. So you can be like, hey, I need to drop a resume. AI, I need you to create a website stating that I was the vice president of this Fortune 500 company from this time,
Yeah.
and you can't find it anywhere but on that website, but you can find it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of era that we live in. Like, we could force the issue and be like, hey, look, man, we're doing these things. We're doing all this stuff, and we're reaching out to all these people. We're not doing any of that. It's basically 2 dudes, 3 dudes right now. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Most definitely.
3 dudes right now chopping it up, just trying to make a difference.
Yep.
That's all it is.
100%.
We don't have any credentials. We don't have nothing. We have a show that airs on just about any podcast platform, you know, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, RSS.com, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast. We're everywhere. BSW Unbound80 at gmail.com. That's our email address. It's bumper_wisdom.
On Instagram is bumper_sticker_wisdom. TikTok is bumper_sticker_wisdom. Facebook is the only weird one. Is John and Jason BSW or BSW John and Jason. I don't know, one or the other.
We're everywhere. But we're doing it like everyday Joe Schmoes. So, you know, check us out. Hope everybody enjoys our content. For everybody that is listening, we appreciate you. We'll do the best we can. Thank you again to our special guest for Bumper Sticker Wisdom. I'm Jason.
I'm John.
I'm Sam.